For 5 days, the Historic Guild Theater displayed a full range of Black films from Black filmmakers. It was for the second annual Oak Park Black Film Festival that highlighted Black stories from across the diaspora. We talked to director Tari Wariebi, whose short film We Were Meant To won the title of Best Short during the event.
The community has voiced their concerns time and time again. Creating more no-fly zones is our way of saying we're listening. We need to keep our neighborhoods safe for all. And this is our continued effort.
We Were Meant To will be screened here in Oak Park, but it's also shortlisted. Is it shortlisted for the Oscars?
Let's see, fingers crossed.
Okay.
We've Oscar qualified 3 times now. So we're in the process of that whole campaigning and all that. And yeah, getting people to see the film, getting it out there, and fingers crossed that, come January, February, or December, come in the winter, there's some good news that we join some of the shortlist hopefuls. That a chance to win. But yes, we were meant to qualify, and that I did not prepare for that either.
The film is about a young teenage boy named Akil Summers. He is 16 years old, and he has wings.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And as a rite of passage, he must use his wings and fly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. His first flight. Big, very important.
Did you go to bed one night and dream of this plot of someone having wings? Or how did that come about?
No, I didn't dream. So there's some similarities or symbolism in my work, like leading up to this film. Like flight had been a reoccurring theme. So there's like an Easter egg in the film. There's this book and there's like this class in the film called Instructions on Flying. And that was actually a short film that I had done. It was the title of the short film that I had done like maybe 3 years prior. Just like a 5-minute short about a young Black woman. It's a job. And at a severance, picks a bunch of stuff up from the job, and one of them is a book that gives them instructions on how to fly. So I've always had flying as kind of a topic or a recurring theme in my work. So this is kind of like a culminating thing. And then obviously the story of like the Flying African, the Toni Morrison and those things. So like the folklore of all of that kind of swirling around. And then it was like, okay, how do I make something that is grounded, contemporary, a little left of center, a little fantastical. And so that was probably, but it was a lot of sleeping, but not just one night of sleep, waiting and being like, got her.
Awesome. You said this was inspired by folklore and African culture and your particular culture. Yes. Can you talk a little bit about what that culture is and how that is tying into this work?
Yeah, so I'm first generation Liberian and Nigerian. So for people that know the specificity of that, just that combination is like, how? But for me, it's like, yeah, you grow up in a house, like the family dynamics, like I said, the storytelling of it all, there's always been a sense of, my parents told stories, like I said, when older relatives, the people told stories, there was always a sense of magic, of mystique, of otherworldly things. So that was like, my storytelling is incredibly grounded in my mind. People see the film and see my other work and go like, this is so fantastical, I'm like, that part's easy. Like, you know what I mean? And for me, it's always grounded because, when I was hearing these stories as a kid, I just took them as real stories. Like, there was like, these are our parents' stories that they were passing down the street. I was like, oh, this is real. This is like grounded. I could only imagine in a very real and grounded way because that's how it was told to me. So for me, it's no different. Like my work having a tinge or a garnish of fantasy or sci-fi, it's still super grounded because that's how I received those stories. So yeah, the West African culture is in there for sure.
That's incredible. As a Liberian myself, right? Yes. When I read about the film and saw the preview, I'm just like, oh, these wings represent something as they did in, let's say we're talking about spider stories, right? These wings this young boy has that he must take flight, it represents something. Can you talk a little bit about what that representation is?
For me, I think people will draw their own kind of representation, but I think at its core, all I'm saying is that his wings are extension of just his greatness, like his biological birthright, who he is, the essence of who he is, right? He can't help it. He was born to be, he has no choice. Like it's like holding the skin that you're in, right? And that make him that much special, right? And then people's responses to you who you are just innately by how you show up in the world. So for me, it's just his way, the extension of his blackness and his being, his everything kind of are his inherent superpower. And I believe everyone has that special ability. So that's all it is for me. But people will draw, obviously, like the allegorical parallels and things like that.
When I read your director's note on your website, you specifically said that this film is a love letter to your younger self.
Yeah.
That is profound. Yes. To me.
It is very much so. It's very much been a profound experience. Yeah.
What about this is a love letter to your younger self?
Oh man. So Akil is me, but like is me informed having lived, some 10 plus years past, 17, where it's like the things he does in the film are things that I was too shy as a kid to do, right? Or things that he's brave enough to do, like I couldn't wrap my head around at 16 or 17. But now that I get to rewrite a story, I get to empower him in that way, to have that perspective, to have the tough conversations, right? To like the girl that he likes and goes and say something to her, right? Because I was pretty timid as a kid, and he navigates that, but he kind of shows up in a way that I wish I had. So when people talk about the story, I'm always like, the wing stuff, the high concept stuff is cool, but like for me, the fantasy elements were me getting to reimagine being 16 or 17 and making a different choice.
Yeah.
So that for me was like at every point where I was stuck in the writing and development process, I had to look inward to get the answer. Okay, how do I connect? It's like, well, what was I thinking of? What was my biggest fear at 16? Like how did I understand the world? Oh, that's the answer. That connects the dots. So that's why I felt like a love letter, because I really got to examine how I understood myself. And then you look back and like, you did good. You did all right. You weren't. Yeah, I was like, I think it worked out.
I read that you sort of had an unconventional casting process. Mm-hmm. What was that? Talk a little bit about that and why.
So I mean, first of all, this whole interview could be spent shouting out all the people that helped me make this project, but specifically as it relates to collaboration in the casting space, Hannah Cooper was our casting director. I love her. She's amazing. I owe her so much. But she really just, she allowed me to just meet. And it wasn't this like arduous process of the tapes and people coming in and all the whole kind of cattle call of it all. She spent time on my story, and she handpicked a few people, and she really believed the story, and we got to swing for the fences. Like I got to basically send her a wish list of people that I thought could really work and that, I would love to work with, and people I had hired, saw their work on TV, and people who I really thought were talented, and we swung for those people, and then I got to get a big bulk of my wish list. But with the casting of like the boys and some of the more primary characters, we spoke about the stories, she understood me, and then I got to meet these kids that I would just sit with. And everyone technically came in to be the lead, but we would talk about all the characters, we talk about life, like, I didn't even read lines, it's a coming of age story. I wanted to understand who they were, so we were talking about relationships, what they were eating, goals they wanted to do, like where they were from, like what side are you, what is this? Like we were having these big conversations, and I wanted to understand like their world views and who they were, and and get a sense of them. And then that's how we found Tim Johnson Jr. He plays Akil. I feel like in this process of making this movie, like I got a little brother, like, and it just so happens, right, how serendipity where it's like he's from Philly, I'm from Philly, right? And a lot of our lives kind of parallel. So it's like watching him and in the process of collaborating, making the film, I'm like, I'm trying to empower my actors, but then I'm watching him lift these words off the page. It's empowering me. So it's like this beautiful exchange. And now it's like, I talk to that man quite often. And so yeah, the process is conventional but very intentional. And it got us to, I think, a really strong casting. He was able to tell the story really, really well. Yeah.
How long did it take to shoot and edit and get this out there to the world? What was that process like? And just to give the people some context about how even just creating a short, the runtime is 27 minutes, right? Just creating a short, how long or short that process may take, depending on the film.
Well, this show was special. It's a pandemic baby, like a lot of creators in the next probably 3 years from these past few years that made film. Probably like after next year will probably be the last time we'll hear, so, this is made in the pandemic, right? Because we kind of moved away from, but yeah, our film was a pandemic baby. But to give you guys context, man, the first readable draft was like 2019, late 2019. we were actually slated to shoot March of 2020, and we know what happened then. And then we just had to be disciplined, and we got to shoot in March of 2021. And this is a really robust 20 plus minute short. World building, VFX, special effects, incredible music, sound design, thank you Skywalker, just a great cast, all these things. So post was, over 150 VFX shots. Post was big, so we shot, and it took about another year to deliver the movie. We delivered the summer of 2020.
Wow.
And then we premiered Sundance 2023. But the script that people could read and get a sense of what we were trying to do, I think was like, the first draft was probably like 80% there. That was 20 nights. And then when the pandemic hit, our script was set. Like, I think I might have tweaked one scene, one of the like last father-son scenes, but the script was solid, and we were just prepping, and we re-prepped it. Yeah, it was an instant cost. About 4 years to get it to the screen.
Wow.
Yes. And I grew as a director in that process. I shot other things in between. I did all of that just to sustain, but also continue to keep creating as an artist, but yeah, the process. But without the pandemic, I would say typically a short is at least, if done well and done intentionally, at least a year, 6 months to a year to have commitment, like 3 festivals, 3 colors from all this.
This film festival is about Black voices, Black directors, Black stories. And we know that in the field, there are a lot of younger Black men and women trying to become directors and producers.
Yes.
But sometimes maybe it's taking a little too long. Maybe, well, not too long, but it takes a long time to perfect your craft, right? What advice would you give to them?
Run your race. Like, you're going to do some iteration of everything I just described about my journey, but for yourself. And it's going to be specific, right? You're going to figure out what your superpowers are. I always say, like, figure out what you get for free, which is, I think, your intangibles, right? The things that you kind of offer. You can't, it's like, oh, you can do that without thinking, and just build from there, right? And also, like, I would say, not to change who you are, right? To get to the place you have to go. I think the place that you want to go, I think it's actually, you have to get in touch with who you are in order to get to where you have to go. Because that is what's going to serve you. So, and it's you. I would say no one's coming to save you. And I don't mean that like a belief or, whatever. It's you. Like, you are the driving force, and it's your race. So run your race. Like, I think, what's the old, what's the West African, I don't know where the country came from, but like they say, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
I don't know who said that. I don't know if Liberians said that though. Cause
I don't think Liberians.
They would say less
said
words.
that.
I think you just have to run your race and trust and be in conversation with yourself and whatever your belief system is, and trust that it's gonna happen. Like, don't doubt that it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Just don't be as precious on the how. Just like, sign the contract. Oh, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna reach it, and just enjoy the journey.
While writing this, while filming this, did you anticipate that this film will garner so much accolades as it's had? You premiered at Sundance.
Yeah.
Arthur's Vineyard.
Yeah, no, you don't. I don't try to think about that when I'm writing stuff. I just try to make the best thing I can. When I make it, I try to be as informed as possible about what I can and can't do, but also I spent so much time really drilling in what I was trying to say, and I really thought about audience and how much I wanted to impact them. Like, that was some of the goal of it. I really want to make something that moves people, that inspires people, that makes people laugh, and cry, and feel something. All right, so those were the goals, and when we finished the film, I thought I hit those goals.
Okay.
That was the kind of simple kind of thing, right? And then we had to really let well, I would say intimate, it wasn't intimate. Everyone that said yes to helping make the film, we did a private screening at AFI in this big theaters, and 200 people show up, and everyone really responded. Like, it really responded well. And I remember coming to my actors and a few like key collaborators, and I, like, everyone's hugging, so the whole thing, and I go, and I was like, I do right by you. You can do it. They're like, yeah. And I remember that night. This is before the Sundance stuff. That's before all the Oscar qualifying festival we won, all the grand juries, all of that stuff, right? That was like months prior before all that stuff started rolling in, and I felt resolved then because I was like, oh, I've done That's supposed to do. Everything else is icing on the cake, and then the cake just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the icing kept getting sweeter and sweeter. I was like, whoa. So no, you never know. You never do that. But I think if you put your best foot forward and you do all the work you can do, you can receive it. But I never made a film thinking it was something. I never made a film to win a BAFTA. I never made a film to, do the thing. All those things are like a byproduct. So I'm thankful. I receive it. They're affirming, but the work had already validated. They're really affirming what I believe the film could do and all the things. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate this time. One more question. This won't take long. As a Liberian boy, what's your favorite soup?
Oh, palau sauce.
Palau sauce. Yes. I believe. What?
No, palau sauce for sure. No question. I was like, wait. Yes, palau sauce for sure.
Okay, well, he likes palau sauce. So everybody out there who wants to meet him, just, tell him you got palau sauce.
Yeah, food is the way, sure. But Liberian food is specific, so I can't just be eating from everybody. And I can cook, so I make for myself and my mom and a few other people.
That's
but like Liberian food is a very intimate type of food to make. It's like all these stews are very intimate, so I don't know, but yeah, hands down for sure. My favorite soup. No question.
Excellent. Well, it was great. It was great speaking with you. Yeah. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For more coverage on the Oak Park Black Film Festival, be sure to visit us at SACobserver.com and follow us on social media.